Jaziz versus General Alexander.
You'll never crack my defenses, General. Welcome, General. Are you ready to begin?
I'm never more ready than you, darling, with your fucking particle cannons. Aren't you just a peach?
Oh, what's that sound? And look, there's a light in the sky. I wonder... Oh dear. I am sorry, General, but that's just how I like to say hello. Well, good luck, General.
I'm just a peasant.
Now, the trick to this mission is to just forget any semblance of strategy, forget everything you know about this game, and just build, build, build.
I will work.
Because the gimmick here is that she's fully loaded. She has her Aurora bombers, her particle cannons, she has helicopters in the sky. Most of her units are already built, so... The only real advantage you have in this mission is that the artificial intelligence has very bad targeting. She'll go after your barracks most of the time with the particle cannons, and while she will go after your supply depot, it's unlikely if you build in the correct order. Well, maybe less order than spacing. If you build your barracks or your supply depot in the wrong space, a little bit too far to the left maybe, they'll attack that first, and then your infrastructure really will be fucked up. It's also important to remember that she attacks you with Comanches within about the first 60 seconds that you have control in the game, so if you don't have any anti-air up, she will kill you, more likely than not. Oh shit! That's a new one. Okay, this is harder than the 0-hour version, that's just fucking dandy. I kinda don't know what to expect now, but I can say for certain that the artificial intelligence still has shitty targeting, because they didn't take out my barracks, which is the most important thing that I have right now. So I guess the smart thing to do is to continue with the 0-hour strategy and just do it more. Build more. That's about the only option I have when I think about it.
I can't build there. I will do what I must.
It will be a big explosion. Quick, ready yourself.
I ought to capture those turrets. They wouldn't put a bunch of anti-air turrets there if you didn't need them.
We will be safe in there.
Besides, I highly doubt that they took the Aurora Alpha bombers out of this mission. That just doesn't seem very likely.
What's keeping you?
Right now, my main concern really isn't the Aurora bombers, since they're going to reach their target no matter what. There's really nothing I can do about that besides try to coax them into blowing up shit that's not that important. That's predictable, so that's not really a problem. The main problem I'm going to have is if she sends anything like ground units or basically anything else that I'm not going to expect. As powerful and devastating as the Aurora Alpha bombers are, they're still not quite as bad as a ground unit going around unchecked, since they'll be able to just stay in there and fire all day long. She's only got one airfield that I know of, so... she's not going to send more than 4 at a time at most. That means she can't just blow up the entire base with Aurora bombers. That would be really fucking cheap if she could, but that's not a concern. That being said, it's really hard to prepare against the unknown, especially in a situation to where it could cost you a lot of money, since she's likely to blow up anything that you try to build to counter her. So even if she does send a bunch of ground units, it's really not to my favor to stop building decoys for the Aurora bombers and particle cannons that take out. This fight was pretty rough in 0-hour, so I don't expect it to be any easier here. Well, you know what, I take that back. It's not really a hard fight, it's just non-conventional. Like I've said in the other videos that I've done this challenge on, you just have to let her kick your shit in and then take your strike when it's available. Once you start fighting back, there's really not that much she can do about it unless you ruin your economy or something like that.
Oil derricks, are we? Well, I'll let you have that
We
one.
have sown our seed in the enemy's land. Take us to glory.
Those anti-air towers are doing a good job. Now with the money saved on Stinger sites, I can have my palace up and hopefully a black market up as soon as possible.
Will be seen by
you know, thinking about it, I should probably skip on the black market until my resource pile starts getting low. getting the Scud storms up right now is not a bad idea now that I think about it.
No cost is too
While
great.
I'd like to be a badass and just do a ground attack and not use any super weapons against her,
Defending the
I
tunnel
don't
network.
want to be a badass enough to let her kick the shit out of me 3 or 4 times until I get a
If you
proper
wait,
strategy
I'll just
going,
have
so
one more super weapon
I'm
to
just gonna
fire at
play
you.
this the regular way.
Guarding the GLA underground. Okay, over there.
General, our enemy is using their particle cannon.
Excellent. It's a good thing that hasn't changed, because if they altered her targeting, my whole strategy would fall apart. For instance, if she went after the palace first instead of the barracks, I wouldn't be able to build a Scud storm in any kind of reasonable amount of time. Though I'm sure this is beatable without using super weapons, I still recommend building one anyways, because it's nice to have a building for her to target her particle cannons with. Oh man, this mission would be so fucking hard if she chose random targets with her particle cannon. You know, there goes your fucking black market and your fucking palace, your fucking arms dealer. Good luck recovering from that shit with the bombers popping off every couple of minutes.
Our homes are in peril.
Then again, I say all this, but I don't really know what's in store for me next. For all I know, the hammer's about to come down on my head any second now. Still, outside of them giving her more units and more general's powers to mess with, I can't foresee this being that much harder than the 0-hour version, since you're just getting your base blown up either way. If she's gonna blow my shit up anyways, it really doesn't matter what she uses. Unless it's ground units versus air units. But I could think of harder things to have to adjust to.
Your overall strategy is to bore me off the battlefield.
Considering all the power that modders have, it could be way worse. The game could rickroll me and spew out a bunch of memes from 2008 and just be a huge fucking annoying mess. Wouldn't be that hard to put in, honestly.
There's not enough room for that building.
I wish there were some crazier maps and mods, but I am glad that this game hasn't been infiltrated with memes and Five Nights at Freddy's and Slender Man and
Why don't you just
stupid-ass
give up?
memes that
There's
are
better things
instantly
I can do
outdated by the
instead.
time they're put into a game like this, and it's just nice that they put actual effort into the humor.
Hungry.
While the Windows XP joke's a little bit outdated, it's kinda timeless in
You
the
are
fact that
pushing me
Windows is
over
always gonna
budget,
have
General.
issues, so the humor here is way smarter than just hammering in some stupid fucking meme into the game, like a Doge cannon or some shit. I don't even hate the Doge meme or anything like that, it's just one of those things that agitates me, because everybody always takes it way too far. Which is the easiest way to kill a joke.
I will work.
Now, this is the shit that I was worried about. I really don't need to deal with a bunch of ground units right now. The Aurora bombers are bad enough, but at least they fuck off after taking a chunk out of my base. The tank's just gonna sit there all day firing away unless I can blow it up, and I really don't want to lose any of these quad cannons or any of these defensive towers. Not if I don't have to. Besides, it doesn't seem like the Aurora bombers are targeting these anti-air cannons, so yeah, losing one of those would be pretty devastating right now. Fuck. I completely forgot that those Chinooks just come in through the back of your base and there's nothing you can do about it. So unless I build a bunch of interior anti-air defenses, they're gonna get in and they're gonna cause a lot of fucking problems. I fucking hate that. I understand that it's kinda hard to spice up these challenges and, you know, some things have to be a little bit unfair or else you'll be able to beat them too easily, but that's just bullshit. It's just a fucking cheap shot. You could get all the way up to this point, do perfectly fucking fine, and just get your ass kicked by one of those ambushes. That's crossing the line between difficult and just flat out unfair. Taking cheap shots like that. Ah, fuck this mission.
Building construction has been completed.
I really gotta be on top of rebuilding all this shit. Because one of those missile strikes is going to ruin my fucking day if I lose my tempo here. This mission's like playing with Legos with your little nephew or something like that. You know, you're getting into it a little bit, even though it's just fucking Legos. You build something nice, and here he comes to just destroy everything. So you build some more so he can destroy it more, and that becomes the game. It's like being the city planner for Tokyo if Godzilla was real. Just having to rebuild everything all the fucking time. Rebuilding it as he's destroying it. I could think of hundreds of analogies for this situation, but the key thing to remember is that this mission sucks. I don't think there's any way to fix it, to be honest. The only good thing about this mission is that it might teach new players to not quit after a couple of their buildings have been destroyed, but well, if that was true, I wouldn't see that anymore, and that's still a thing, unfortunately. Besides, if one player had this much leverage over another player, there wouldn't be 9 minutes to figure everything out. You would just get your shit stomped, and it would be over with in a couple of minutes. So as harsh as this fight is, she really is taking it easy on me. I mean, all she has to do is send a couple of those Enforcer tanks out after me at the start of the mission, and there's really not too much I could do about that, because, well, I would have to split my money between anti-air and anti-tank, and that's just not financially possible within the first 60 seconds. I mean, sure, I might be able to get a Stinger sight up, but a single Stinger sight really wouldn't hold up, and I wouldn't be able to get an arms dealer up in time either. It'd just be a huge fucking mess. Maybe not. I think I could work around that. If I sold the command center, then put a tunnel down where the command center was so that the Comanches will attack that while I build extra Stingers, that could work out, but man, that would be bullshit. Fuck that. I like a challenge, but that shit's just fucking insane right there. That's some Super Mario hack bullshit. It really does remind me of some of those nightmarish platformer games like I Want to Be the Guy or those Kaizo Mario hacks. Just because it's less about reaction speed and strategy than it is just simple memorization. This mission's hard, but only because you have to remember so much little piddly bullshit just to survive. For example, the Chinooks aren't that hard to combat. You can put down a couple of anti-air and they won't be able to sneak up on you outside of your base, but the fact that they do that at all is the problem. If you don't see it coming, you're just fucking dead. And it's not like you could see it coming until it's happened to you once, so, you know, unless you're lucky like me and have the anti-air there and just kind of cut it off, you're pretty much fucked, because you're not going to see it coming. The radar's not going to help you out there. Can't really blame Shockwave for that either, because I'm pretty sure that was in the original 0-hour version as well. That isn't something that the modder just added. He just put different units in the Chinook. In fact, I have to give the modder credit. Those anti-air towers are really nice. It's nice that the Aurora bombers don't target them either, so you're just not completely fucking crippled by those things. While I don't think this mission would be impossible without the anti-air, the Aurora bombers are going to hit you anyway, so it's nice for him to at least give you a little bit something to fight back with. In 0-hour, they don't give you shit. You just got to deal with it. All that being said, this still isn't the hardest challenge. I think laser is much more difficult, and it's kind of the same thing with the 3 particle cannons. It's just that, well, laser doesn't do as many cheap shots on you. What he does is more direct, and a genuinely good player could beat Laser General without having to know what the fight's all about, to where that same player could play the Super Weapon Challenge and just get their ass beat because they didn't follow the very specific order you need to follow to beat this mission.
Yes. Cannot we live in peace? There's not enough room for that building.
I'm well prepared. It must be done. We are upgrading to armor-piercing
We
bullets.
can now use our Scud storm. Where shall we strike?
Building construction has been completed.
Do you know how long it's going to take to clean that up?
Construction has been completed.
You can't really pick a bad target in this base, but you need about 3 Scud Storms as Demolition General to really cripple her, otherwise she's going to rebuild most of it. Luckily, there's quite a few buildings she can't reach, like those power plants to the northeast. I wouldn't really recommend building more than 3 super weapons, though, because you shouldn't
Looks
need
like
more
you're
than
losing,
3.
General. Now, what did I
If you
say
have the
about
money for that, you
planned?
can usually manage some kind of ground attack after the first Scud storm with the sneak attack tunnel, but I don't know if I'm going to use those or not. I may not need to. Thinking about it, I should probably take advantage of some of these aquatic vehicles. It's just more fun that way.
I will obey. I will do the best I can.
Those BRDMs are going to make dealing with those EMP Patriots pretty fucking simple. That long range is really nice. Though I don't think I'd cut it in the real military because all these fucking acronyms would drive me fucking crazy. Not quite as bad as trying to figure out message board lingo, but it's on up there in annoyance. I'm sure actual generals have a guidebook of all the fucking acronyms and what they stand for. Where on the internet you have to Google what MTW means or any of that other shit. 50 years in the future, all the generals alive will grow up with the internet, so they're going to use shit like LOL and BTW over the radio. BRB, bombing Syria in my F-16. Over. K, over. 2 bogeys on my 6, :/ over. LOL, drone fire FTW. Over. K, thanks, enemy down. Over. Then again, it's hard to come up with simple names for military technology without sounding like a bumpkin. You know, what are you going to call it, a water tank? Any way you try to describe it would be a nightmare compared to just using an acronym. I just hate acronyms that consist of more than 2 or 3 letters. It starts to get a little confusing. Seems like they can hack one off. There's some pretty funny crossover when it comes to acronyms, though. For instance, type BBC into Google. It's not always the British Broadcasting Company that comes up. Or that cartoon Archer, the spies worked for a organization called ISIS. That didn't work out really well for them, but in their defense, they used it first. The terrorists stole it from them, so they shouldn't change the name. I don't know. That's a tough one. It's like if your initials are ASS or HIV, it's just really fucking awkward. Sometimes it's best to just get a name changer. Drop the middle name, maybe. I think if I was in charge of naming all the military stuff, I'd try to sneak in a tank called a MILF. Just because. That needs to happen. Or maybe a tank called a BBW. You know, a big, beautiful war machine.
General, our enemy is using that part.
This right here is why you don't spend all of your money on super weapons. Even if you can predict where she's going to fire those particle cannons, if she can shoot all 3 at once, you're going to lose a lot of items in your tech tree. So always keep around a little bit of extra money in your bank just in case. I'd suggest building more buildings, you know, 2 arms dealers and such, but if you spread it out, she's still going to attack it all anyways because the particle cannon has a pretty long range on it. Considering the size of this map, your time is probably better spent just collecting money and saving up to rebuild those structures rather than trying to build multiples and getting all compact on this single island. Taking the island up to the north is an option, but it's still kind of expensive to get the ball rolling on that, and I always just put the money into the Scud storm since it gives her extra targets to shoot at, but it doesn't take too much time. You have enough money to defeat her with the first cash pile, and if you put down a couple of resource-generating buildings, you'll be able to boost your cash flow pretty efficiently here.
Where shall we strike?
I think all in all, you save more time by just rebuilding the buildings that she blows up rather than, you know, building a second base or building duplicates, because those are going to get blown up by Aurora bombers, and then you go into the negative. Well, that and the fact that getting the Scud storms up is probably quicker than taking over that base and keeping it defended while keeping tabs on everything else and rebuilding everything that's going to get blown up anyways. It's probably not going to give you a huge return for all the effort that you'd have to put into doing that. At least not as GLA. They do well with 1 cash pile if you have a good build order going, but I don't know, maybe USA could take that over. Still, it's really fucking expensive to move over there. I'm wary of any strategy that costs over 10,000 to actually execute without having to babysit it or give it extra attention. Well, that and if I had a better grasp on how to use the hotkeys, I could probably build a lot quicker, but that's going to take some time. I got to teach myself that over the next couple of months. Oh well. Mistakes were made, but that's why I have the Scud launchers.
Launching Scud
That
station.
should keep her off my case for about 5
My
minutes.
greatest super weapon
Hopefully it's
is
enough
mine.
time for me to build some ground units and attack her head on. Because just using Scud Storms kind of sucks, but I don't feel bad doing that against her.
No respect for other people's property.
Let's get rolling. I do not
I
have
will
patience for
obey.
this. 4 on the floor.
Cannot we live in peace?
It's your call. You got
Ah, damn it. I meant to build the BDRMs instead of the camels, but this could be a good chance to see how well they do by themselves, so why not build a few
Your
more?
overall strategy is to bore me off the battlefield.
May as well get junk repair and AP rockets since I have the money.
I'm right here. Let's get rolling.
I gotta be more careful what I buy and make sure to read what it is before I buy it, because I'm not familiar enough with this game to memorize what all the pictures stand for.
Hey, how's it going?
General,
You
our
got it.
enemy is using that particle.
Our homes are in peril.
This would be way harder if I had to deal with any of the other super weapons, but the particle cannon just doesn't work well with artificial intelligence. If she had nukes or Scud Storms, I'd have to take the other islands. There'd be no way around it, but I could probably capture that one on my island and do a whole lot of damage early on,
Think
so
about it.
Need a little
it probably
heat
wouldn't be
around?
that much harder to deal with. It would just take a little
check
bit of
it out.
extra time.
Nothing will stop me.
It's your call. Let's go.
Oh, they're non-aquatic. Well, that's embarrassing, but that's how you learn.
Anytime.
I'll just nonchalantly send them after that artillery platform, and we'll see how they do.
Cruising. All right. Want a little heat on the run?
All units, attack pattern
I
alpha.
guess I won't be building any more of those in the
Just
near
kidding.
future.
I would call something
Maybe against infantry general, but seems like something you use against an angry mob or a bunch of infantry units packed together in a cluster, not so much anything else. The BDRMs, however, seem pretty useful. Long-range rockets, pretty high damage, seems to work good against vehicles and infantry, and buildings too, I suppose, since they outrange defensive buildings, they're not going to be able to fight back. That being said, it would just take one Comanche to wipe out a horde of them since they can't fire at air units, so that's a problem over the water. While the plan to use the BDRMs to take out the enemy on ground could fail horribly, I'm kind of optimistic about it.
I warn you not
Just
to
as long as the
underestimate
AI doesn't send any air units out, it'll probably be pretty one-sided. Though if they sent Aurora bombers, no amount of anti-air would actually stop the attack, so that would still be pretty fucking devastating. Oh well. Worst case scenario, the Scud Storms will be plenty to take her out in the end.
On the way. The path is clear. Our way has been set. Let's get this over. I'm ready.
I've been analyzing your tactics, and I'm just amazed. Do you even have any tactics, General?
I really didn't have that much of a plan outside of building Scud Storms and surviving the first attacks with the particle cannons, but at the end of this mission, that's all you really need to do. Just secure that and then try to do better in other areas. It's the easiest way to get by it anyways. You can either beat it really quickly, or you might take about 30 or 40 minutes if you fumble it like I did right here with the camels and possibly the BDRMs, but I think they'll do just fine. I'll at least be able to destroy the EMP Patriots in that island up to the north, so that should be helpful, but I think the main thing I should do is pack one of these tunnels, Scud storm an area, and then flood the rest of the base. And again, the BDRMs may do the trick by themselves, so if the BDRMs don't work out, I'll just Scud her and tunnel her, and that should be the end of the match right there. I may have just wasted this Scud storm, but I don't think the BDRMs are going to outrange that artillery platform, so knocking that out will give them free range to take out all the EMP Patriots, and it might make it just a little bit easier for me to get into that base. I'm going to have to play a Super Weapon General soon. She seems to have a lot of new cool shit, but the General's Challenge version of her doesn't seem to utilize most of it. I like that missile attack, and those Enforcer tanks seem pretty badass too, although it's a little bit too futury for my taste. But it's nice to see the Super Weapon General stand out a bit. I might think they're a little bit too futuristic, but they still look pretty badass. Just build a mix of quad cannons and BDRMs and get them inside that tunnel so I don't have to worry about them getting blown up by a rocket attack. That would be frustrating. That's easily one of the best parts about the GLA. The tunnel size isn't massive, so you can't store a whole horde in there, but you can protect some really important units from getting blown up that way. Thinking about it, I could have optimized this a whole lot, but, well, for a first try, it's pretty damn good, and I've already won this. I'm just building up to finish her off now. There's no way she's going to recover.
On the floor.
If I built BDRMs at the beginning, right when I was at the level to unlock them, I could have taken that particle cannon to the east out, and I also could have taken a lot of the stuff up to the north out and gotten a lot more XP off that too. I also should have gone for cash bounty instead of rebel ambush. I would have made a lot of money off those EMP Patriots and whatever else the BDRMs could have reached. Probably wouldn't even need the cash pile with all the money I'd rake in doing that. That definitely would have worked out better. May as well attack her base head on with what I have. Only have a few minutes to go here before the Scuds are ready again, so there's no time to do anything super crafty. But there is enough time to try to take her out head to head.
Our way has been set. Nothing will stop. Committed to the cause. It is my destiny.
Well, that sucks. I thought I was going to be able to outrange the Patriot Tower.
Committed to a cause.
Fallen.
Oh, damn it. They're not BDRM, they're BRDM. I'm going to fuck that up a whole lot. I like the easy-to-remember shit like Battlemaster and Overlord. This is why most American cars are named after animals. We can't comprehend numbers and shit like that. That's why it's the Xbox One and not the XB One. That would just confuse the shit out of all of us. I'm not gonna rag on the Xbox One, although it does have a really stupid name. Not like me. Hellbent's an awesome name, and it doesn't sound awkward at all. Especially when I have to read my email address to the bank or the government. So I guess when the BRDMs are in packs, they function like the Patriot Towers and can attack targets outside of their range as long as another BRDM targets it. But that's just a theory that I'm going to have to test, because I also thought they would be able to outrange that Patriot Tower, and the game proved me wrong, so that's going to take a little bit more experimentation to figure out.
I don't appreciate unexpected visitors, General.
Ah, fuck. Wasted that rebel ambush. This attack is going really poorly.
General, our enemy is using their particle cannon.
Our base is under attack! I'm ready.
Alright, that's it. I'm done fucking around. It's time to finish this off.
Use our Scud storm.
But I better rebuild that palace just in case I manage to fuck this up somehow. Can't really see how I'll be able to do that with the Scud storms and all, but, well, you never know. My other predictions didn't pan out too well, so no shame in exhibiting a little bit of paranoia.
Where shall we strike? Launching Scud storm.
I may be wasting another Scud storm, but I think getting this front door open's a pretty good priority to have. While I'll be able to use a sneak attack tunnel anyways, I just don't want to leave any more holes, because that's costed me about 10 minutes in this match so far. Just got to use all my available foresight, open up all the paths possible, then finish this off.
Don't push me.
I need time to think. Go away, General.
I'll puncture the next thing that moves.
Where shall we strike? Where shall we strike? Launching Scud storm.
Committed to the cause. Yes, I go.
We're waiting for you, General. What's keeping you?
Just as
Looks like I'm clear to attack. Guess I won't need the tunnel after all. Well, you know, in this instance right here, I probably could have used it a lot earlier and it probably would have worked really well. We'll just chalk that up along with all the other mistakes I made this time, but I guess it does say something about this general that you can fuck up so many times and still win. I complain about this mission being hard, but it's really more unorthodox than it is hard. It's kind of like trying to read the alphabet backwards or something like that. It's not really more difficult than reading the alphabet forward, but it throws your mind for a loop and you're way more likely to make a mistake. Alright, knocking her power out's not going to work from here. May as well try to take out those dozers, or at least try to get out of range from the EMP Patriots.
Where shall we strike?
the path is clear. Yes, I go. On the way. Just as we planned.
Well, this is a less than ideal situation, but at least I'll be able to cripple her for good. She still has one more dozer left, but without the command center, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for her to recover. Hopefully I can just finish off the entire base with what I got.
I don't appreciate that kind of disrespect.
Just as we planned.
You don't know what to expect of me.
Looks like the artillery towers get a range boost in this mod. That's a nice touch. They really aren't strong enough in 0 hour.
Yes, I
The
go.
warrior has fallen.
I know my filled with surprises.
Wait, not camels. I almost made the same mistake again.
I'm well prepared. The path is clear. I know my purpose.
I just want to get this over with. I wish I saved a couple of thousand extra just so I'd have enough units to get this done.
General, look over there. Someone's capturing your buildings. Not gonna fall for it, huh?
It must be done.
The warrior has fallen.
You know, if you were a gentleman, you'd give me 5 minutes to rebuild my defenses.
Just as we
Ah, good, her power's out. It's getting really fucking sick of having to tippy-toe around her base. Though it's mostly my fault I'm in this situation, this isn't my favorite challenge either, so yeah, there's a multitude of issues frustrating me right now.
must be done.
Range on those BRDMs seems really inconsistent. Is that a glitch or am I just missing a mechanic here?
My greatest
You know what, I'm just gonna fast forward to the end of this one because I have nothing to say about me just chipping away at the last pieces of her base other than I could have done this way more efficiently.
We are victorious.
It's not fair. One more super weapon and I would have beaten you, General. Challenge me again. I dare you.
Really not much to say about that mission. It's a little bit harder because of her extra general's powers, but they give you those anti-air turrets, so in a way it's easier than the 0-hour version, but that isn't saying much because the match is bullshit to begin with, so you really can't polish a turd, and this match is a turd. I can't blame the modder, though. He added the bridge, he added the anti-air turrets, he tried to do everything he could to make this match good, but it's just the worst challenge out of them all. It's just my opinion, but I'm pretty sure there's a fair amount of people who share the same view that I do on this mission. That being said, it's still fun to play, it's just not my favorite. Anyhow, that's all I got for now, so thanks for watching and I'll see you again soon.